Hello, we are live for Spotlight Sunday with Amber Brooks, who is amazing, and I totally butchered Heather's intro last time, so I'm going to let you make your own introduction today, because you will do a much better job of it. But Amber is awesome, and let's just start there. Let's introduce Amber and learn about you and your business and what you do.
Alrighty. Hey everybody, I'm Amber. I'm a brand strategist and copywriter. I help coaches, consultants, and strategists on their messaging by developing their brand voice and identity and then really compelling copy in that voice so they can reach the right people and make a big impact. So one of the reasons I originally connected with Brooke is because, we have the same mission and the same beliefs, right? Mm-hmm. So, by the way, Brooke, I came up with, the top 5 reasons why we should be, business besties, right? Okay. So, first of all, your first name is Brooke, my last name is Brooke, right?
Meant to be.
That's number 1, right? So, we both love branding, branding nerds. Bonus, both have archetype systems, right? Yes. Bonus, we both love drinks. Hello. And we both like to keep it real. So yes. There you go.
That's awesome. I love it. It's like I had said, I think in the intro in the group for you, I said, hello, community over competition. This is perfect because we do very similar things, but it's awesome. It's so good to, meet other people who do similar things too. And we're not competition. If anybody that's done the archetype stuff will know that, your people go to you and my people will come to me, and that's just how it is. And it's awesome. And I love it.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. So I always like to ask everybody, and I apologize, my mouse isn't working today, so I'm leaning over here looking at my notes. That's what I'm doing. But I always like to ask everybody to share kind of their definition of branding, and I'm really interested to hear yours since that's kind of your thing too. Okay, so for me, your brand is basically the soul of your business. It's the heart and soul of your business, right? It's how people perceive your business. It's how they connect to you and why they connect to you. Mm-hmm. So the things that are built into the identity of your brand are the things that align with the identity of your market as well, right? Cool.
Okay. And so those things come together to build this symbiotic relationship, and that's how I view the brand.
Cool, I love it. You got some big fancy words in there too. I love it. Okay, cool. So today then, Amber is going to teach us about how to write badass bios, and I know at least for me, that's always something that I've struggled with is talking about myself and how to do that without sounding like a freaking dork and also make yourself, seem like an expert too. So I'm excited to hear what you got for us, and just whenever you're ready to dig in, let's do it.
Okay, so the thing is, people get so hung up on bios because, first of all, people hate to talk about themselves, right?
Yes.
It's just completely been so nerve-wracked. First of all, they hate talking about themselves. Second of all, they think that when they're writing their bio, it has to be this super professional, stagnant thing, right? It has to be this resume type language and that kind of thing. And so I think that's what trips people up a lot. Mm-hmm. And the truth of the matter is, your bio should align with your brand. It shouldn't be based on these preconceived notions of, a lot of us come from corporate mentality or the employee mindset, so we're so used to thinking in terms of that type of language and expectations that when we come into the entrepreneurial realm, it's our minds immediately make us want to try to fit into that box, right?
Right.
So the biggest thing with writing your bio is to make sure that it fits your brand and your personality, first of all. And just making it like very organic and appealing to your ideal clients. And your ideal clients may be that like corporate type professional, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's quite possible.
Yeah.
And if so, that's fine. But for people like us and our clients, most of the time, that's not the case.
Right.
For people in your group, that's not the case.
Right.
Right. So your bio gives your audience a glimpse of what they can expect from us and allows them to believe in us a little bit so that they want to dive in deeper and learn more, right?
Right.
So we need to make sure that we are appealing to people's senses so that they do want to learn more about us and not, get that corporate-y facade and just get turned off.
All that yuckiness.
We need to do that. Right.
Right.
So, and a lot of times, like, people don't understand how widely they can use their bios too, right?
Yeah.
So your bio can be used in all places. Like it can be used on your blog. It can be used on your About page. It can be used in media kits. It can be used in speaker profiles if you're going to like a site or something like that. It can be in your ebook. I mean,
anywhere.
Right?
Right.
Right. So I think that people tend to skip over it sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's really like something that people need to focus on because you're going to be able to use it, everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think it's really important too to just have show consistency across all of those platforms too. Like you want to just because you have an awesome bio on your website and they go look at you somewhere else on social media or whatever, you want it to have that same feel and match and be awesome everywhere else too, right?
Totally. And so another thing is your bio is going to include your selling proposition too, right? Your value proposition. So the thing that you're offering the world, the big benefit that you're offering, that's going to be built into your bio, and that's going to be everywhere, and that's what's going to help people understand, what is it that you have to offer that they should be paying attention to. By the way, I just wanted to point out, if anyone has questions, drop them in the thread, and I'll come in later and answer any questions that you have.
Always.
But the bottom line is, definitely. So I pay attention to Brooke's group. I love it. It's this fun little. It's kind of like when you're in the urban city and there's that little underground hangout and you just go there and find your friends and just that's what your group is.
Well, that's so awesome. Thank you. Well, Amber's group is really cool too. If you're not in Amber's group, for sure, check that out. And we can share the link in the comments for sure. But Amber's group is awesome and growing like crazy too. So whenever you want to talk about that, go for it.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay. But the bottom line is, so in your bio, you want to summarize overall what your value prop is, right?
Right.
So mine is that I help entrepreneurs experience that transformative growth through their voice and compelling copy. So whatever your value prop is, that should be built into your bio, right? And so you have your bottom line, which is your unique selling proposition or your value prop, and then you have the what. What is it that you do? Are you a digital marketer? Are you a web developer? Are you a brand strategist? What is it that you do? What is your specialized skill, right?
Cool.
Then I like to also include the why. So what makes you so passionate about what you do? What is it that sparks that, passion within you to do what you do?
Yeah.
Because when people are looking to work with you, collaborate with you, bring you on as a guest blogger, anything like that, they want to know that you aren't just fulfilling a job.
Right.
You're passionate about what you do. There's a reason for it, right?
Right.
And then so also building in your expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm talking about expertise, like I'm not saying pack all your degrees and your certificates and things like that. That's not what we're doing in our bio, right? It's not like, we're not name dropping or anything like that. It's just, the expertise that you have, just drop it in there without all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also I like to make it a little bit intriguing, and then always, always, always have a call. And that's like the one thing that's missing from a lot of bios.
Yeah.
They put the information there in this little chunk, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's nowhere to go from it. There's no call to action. So okay, I see your bio, but that's nice. What do I do with it, right? So include a call to action so that you know how to get in touch with you, how to work with you, how to get a freebie, how to sign up for your course, anything like that.
Yeah, your what to do next.
Exactly. So I always like to go over a little bit of the do's and don'ts in your bio too, because people get so confused about bios, and I can tell them all day long how to write a bio, and they sit down and they look at the screen and they're like,
what do I do?
Okay, what now?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so here's things you do. You do put your personality in.
Yes.
You are your brand. We say this all the time, right?
Right.
Put that personality in there. That's something, you guys know Brooke is all in, right? She's all in her brand, and you know exactly what you get. And you see her on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. You know what you're getting, right?
Right.
So put that personality in there. That's what makes me connect to Brooke. That's what's going to help people connect to you guys. So don't be scared to put yourself out there. Mm-hmm. And that fear is really what holds a lot of people back.
Amen.
Also include things. Yes. Stop holding back. Don't filter people. Okay. So also include things that are going to strengthen your positioning. So, if you have experience as an interior designer and you are now doing digital marketing for interior designers, that's going to be relevant, right?
Right.
Use language that's very natural to you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, force it. So if you're someone who's mild conservative in person and you think it's just sound cool to go online and curse more than usual or whatever, people are going to sense that lack of authenticity a mile away. So don't force it. Be natural. And it's funny that we see it all the time, right? We see that forced fake authenticity all day long. Yep. And it's just so easy to spot.
Yeah.
So,
I think, at least for my business.
Yourself you would.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say I don't know if you watched Heather's Spotlight Sunday last week about being on live video and showing up, but I think that at least for me that has helped my business a lot, to just kind of get out of your head and just be yourself, because when you're on live you're well, this is it. There's no time to prepare or try to be fake or be anything else. So that's at least helped me a lot, because I did come from that corporate environment where it's you have to be all professional, and it took me a while to get out of that mode. So it's been really helpful to just be me. It's just so much easier once you can kind of get past that and figure it out.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you brought that up, because Heather's spotlight fits so well with this, because people do think that they have to put that corporate professional face on with their bio, and you don't. Right. And I freaking loved her spotlight. It was spot on. I was oh my God, you're calling out all the things, all the things, right? Mm-hmm. When I came on the entrepreneurial space, I wouldn't do live. I wouldn't even record myself speaking. Mm-hmm. Not even without video. it was hard for me to even get on a client call. You know, those things totally freaked me out. But it is what it is. You got to put yourself out there, and you have to be yourself.
Right.
And she has some really good tips to like break through the boundaries too. And I'm gonna like probably go back and watch that like 10 more times because I'm still like.
It was so good.
Okay, I thought it was fair, Heather, but you know, obviously I need to step it up some more. Yeah, okay, so be yourself, and with that, like, with the visibility you're talking about, and be yourself, you know, it's important, too, like, your bio is your introduction to people a lot of times, and so think about it like you're at a networking event, right? When you're at a networking event, people are going to ask you what you do, and what's your story, and what's your experience, right?
Right.
But the people online aren't necessarily going to get that chance to ask you in person. So your bio is that introduction, right? So if you could just think of it like that, if you're someone who maybe is more comfortable talking in person, then that might help you write your bio.
Right.
And then also, the other thing I would say is just be committed. You know, whatever bio that you have, build it and then modify it for each platform. So, you know, like Instagram gives you a limited number of characters, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to need to make it more concise and chunk it down for the platform. But it still needs to align with your full bio on your website, right?
Yeah. So what do you recommend?
Those are my views. I have some don'ts, too. I want to take a minute.
Yeah. So what do you recommend then when you're narrowing it down? Like, what do you feel like are the most important parts to leave in? You had mentioned like including your why and, you know, your what and your why and your personality and all that stuff. So how do you go about narrowing it down and picking out the important parts?
Yeah. So the big three are audience, the benefits, and the what you do.
Okay.
So I do X for Y, you know, and you'll get Z. Those are the big ones. Because I want to know if you're speaking to me. I want to know what I'm going to get out of it, right?
Right.
What's in it for me? Everyone wants to know what's in it for me. I don't really care about you. What are you going to do for me, right?
Yep. Exactly. Hey, Heather. Heather's giving us 1,000,000 hearts right now.
Hey, Heather. I do have some don'ts, though.
Okay.
Just don't be overly formal. There is a difference between professional and formal. You can be professional without being formal. So you can be like business casual. You can be yourself without keeping it like sterile and unapproachable. Using a lot of jargon that just turns people off.
Gross.
Like babble. Yeah, don't do it. You also don't, I think I mentioned this earlier, but you don't want to list out every degree, award, certificate, trophy, participation trophy. Honestly, you don't want to do that. Mama might care about that, but the people who want to hire you, not so much, right?
Right.
So don't forget the call to action. You want to send them somewhere once they've read a little bit about you. They want to know what the next is. And then I guess the next biggest one is the passive voice. And this is something that confuses a lot of people. There's a difference between active voice and passive voice. So passive voice is like when you talk about something's being done to you, right?
Right.
Active voice is talking about what you're doing. So someone might say, if you're interested in my services, you can call me. That's like passive, right? That's giving people an option, right? So instead, you would want to say something like, sign up for my course and then drop the link, right?
Right.
You're telling them what to do.
Yep. I love that. That's something that a lot of people don't talk about.
It's going to be no.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Well, that's awesome.
So, is there any questions? I just want to take a pause.
Yeah,
see if there's any questions.
We've got some comments, so let me look through here. Heather says hi. Tamara says hi. Tammy Lamorla. Hi, everyone. Tamara says benefits are huge, and she has trouble with coach talk. So, like, jargon and stuff like that, I'm guessing is what you mean, Tamara. Like, that is something that's very tricky to overcome. I feel like it takes practice. Just, and then Amber said at the beginning, too, just speaking to your audience, that ideal client research, I probably have beat it over everyone's head by this point, but it is so important to know who you're talking to and just using the words that they get and they understand. So that helps. Heather and Tamara are having a heart war, like giving us 1,000,000 hearts. Yay!
Awesome.
Awesome. And
I'm glad you brought that up. So, such a big pet peeve for me. A lot of people in the first couple of years of business, I don't need market research, right? And just blow it off, right?
Right.
That's the one thing you need. Like, if you do not know, please do that. Know your audience.
It's like my number one thing,
I'm so
too.
glad you brought that up.
Or I'll hear all the time stuff like I work with women between 20 and 50, and like, no, like that's not enough. That's not specific enough.
Yeah. Right. So, if you're having a hard time finding out, 9 times out of 10, it's because you don't know your audience, right? You don't know how to speak to them because you don't know who they are. So if you look at someone like, I love to use her as an example, Ash Ambershea, right? Yep. We all love Ash.
Yep.
She knows exactly who her audience is, who they aren't, right?
Right.
And she attracts the right people and then repels the wrong people.
Yes.
That's because she knows her audience. She spent an enormous amount of time getting to know them and can speak directly to them. So, yeah.
She's such a good example.
I don't think we're that home enough. Yes. That's where we met, is it not?
Yeah, in her group.
I believe that's where we met. Yes. Okay. So another question I get often, which I haven't heard yet in your group, is point of view. How do I speak? What point of view do I speak from? So in your bio, you want to speak in the first person. And what that means is you're using the I, right?
Right.
Not, I wouldn't say in my bio, on my website, Amber is a brand strategist and copywriter, right?
Right.
I'm a service provider. I'm my brand. Even though I'm moving to like the agency model right now, I'm still the head of my brand, right?
Right.
And so everything is based around services that I offer.
Right.
So I'm going to use first person I. Now, which I don't think your audience, again, is, but if you're running a bigger agency where it's like a run by a board, then at that point we would use something like me, but I don't think that's either one of our audience, or the people in your group.
Right.
Don't either person, and don't talk about yourself with your, in the third person with your name, like he, she, he, that kind of thing. It's just weird.
It's weird. I agree. It's weird. I've had that conversation with clients 1,000,000 times. Like, it feels awkward. Like,
it's so weird.
Just say it. Just say what you're going to say.
But, and you know what? I think that's because a lot of people feel uncomfortable like talking about themselves, And it has like this innate lack of confidence.
Right.
Even the most confident people have some form of, insecurity.
Right.
But at the same time, you don't want to overuse that I pronoun either. You don't want to make the conversation all about you. Like, hey, I'm here, and I'm putting myself in the spotlight, and it's all about me. It's not. It's about your ideal client. So keep the eyes there, but to a minimum. And if all else fails, write everything you need to write and then edit later.
Yes.
So if you're really feeling stuck and you feel like, I think the other thing is people get in front of the keyboard and they think they have to get it right and perfect.
Yeah.
And you don't.
Right.
Just get it down, edit it. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
You just have to start typing the words out.
Yeah, I think when Rose was on here, we talked about doing just a shitty first draft and just get it out and then go back and edit.
Yes. Exactly. I love Rose, too. Yes. You have some really great people in this group.
I know, I'm so excited.
It's awesome. Mm-hmm. So I have a download, our website, that has all of the tips that we've gone through, and it also has a template. So if you are that personal brand and you need to use the I pronoun, it has a template for you to use there. And then if you have, a bigger business where you need to use the second person pronoun, then it has a template there. So I'll have a link to that in the thread that people can download that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, right now it's over in the events.
Questions, I'm happy to.
Yeah, let's scroll back through here. Okay, so people are, Heather says the active voice is important. Yes. Tamara says, I was told to take it 5 levels deep, like redheads with freckles that have blue eyes and live in California. Okay, so they're your ideal client, like 5 levels deep. So yeah. I've never heard the 5 levels thing, but definitely be very, very specific. Like when you're doing that research, like what keeps them up at night? What do they actually want? And what words do they use? So I don't know if freckles will help you. Like if you're selling makeup or something, freckles, that would be good to know. But just keep in mind what you need to know for your ideal client. And I do, like when I'm going through it with my clients, I don't know what you do, Amber, if you want to tell us, but I like to get super specific for everything that's relevant and like pretend it's one person and give them a name and like find a stock photo that looks like them and you're talking to that person. So I don't know if you want to share like what your ideal client process looks like. Yeah. It's so important.
So I do a lot of back-end research. I do surveys, interviews, mining groups, mining like Amazon and that type of thing if it's appropriate. And for my business, I have different ICAs. So I have my done-for-you client who I'm working deeply one-on-one with. I have my startup client who I'm teaching things to, right? And then I actually have a couple of other ICAs that are brewing right now for some things I'm getting ready to watch.
Exciting.
So what I do is I mine all of the research, put it together, and then I build a persona for each target set, and I get specific like you do. I give them a name, I build them a life, right?
Yeah.
So it's like all the Sims. You remember Sims?
Yes.
That's crazy. So I build them a life, and I drive those pains home, and I list out the values that are important to them and what exactly they need, lay it all out, and everything I do, I'm, within the different segments, I'm speaking directly to that persona.
Yes.
I've never heard the 5 deep thing either. But
I haven't either.
It sounds basically like I do.
Yeah. Yep. Heather says you need to know your ideal client's inner monologue. Yep. Cool.
Yes.
So if anyone has any more questions, now is the time, guys. And then, as always, if you have questions later, like during the replay, put them in there. We'll go back and answer them.
Yep.
And then Amber's freebie is over in the events tab, but as soon as we get off here, I'll also put it in the comments of this video so it's easy to find. Check out her stuff. It's awesome. And your group is awesome too if you want to talk about that for a second, because I know you do all kinds of cool stuff in there.
Aw. Yeah, so I run the brand individuation project. It's a mouthful. So basically, because what I do is I help individuate brands, right? Help you stand out. And so for my one-on-one clients, that's what I do. I pull them out of their head and I put all of their inner magic, you know, put it out there. And so for my group, it's like people who are in the first couple of years of business who aren't quite ready for that big jump, right?
Right.
But they still need to be growing, evolving, and figuring it all out.
Yeah.
I don't believe that people who are just starting should be investing thousands of dollars in websites and copy and things like that. Right. Because you're evolving. It's going to change very quickly in the first year or two, right?
Right.
And so what I do in that group is we talk a lot about moving beyond your circumstances and not allowing your circumstances to dictate your destiny and figuring out how exactly you are able to put yourself into your brand before you get to the point where you're ready to invest, right? So we do a lot of trainings, workshops, you know, I run tests, just all kinds of craziness. So yeah, I'm happy to have anyone join, and it's like a big family over there, and I love everybody there.
Yay. It's awesome. You guys should join.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that looks like all of the questions we have. People like it. We're getting good feedback and so many hearts. I love all the hearts. So yeah. So join Amber's group, download her thing. Both are awesome. And I will be back on Thursday, maybe sooner. I don't know for sure yet. Definitely Thursday though. And that's all we got for you today. So thank you again, everybody who came live.
Thank you so much,
I'm so happy to have everyone. And thank you, Amber. You were so awesome. I know bios are like you said at the beginning, it's terrifying for people to talk about themselves. It's so hard. So this was so awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Bye.